This is Alpaka MuziK Showcase.
Hello, my name is Jeff Kozy. I'm the label head of Alpaka MuziK. So I started throwing raves in about 2010. Yeah, I decided in the last year, like, I was gonna go for it and do music full time, quit my job, not look for anything else, and do Alpaka full time and make it livable.
How did the idea to start a label come about?
I was thinking of doing things. How can I get involved in the music industry worldwide? The label is now almost 5 years old. Yeah, I can't believe how it's gone, because I started the label as a way to get my friends' productions in Montreal, because I was surrounded by producers for years.
What's one of the most important things you think in running a label?
But it takes a lot of kind of guts to ask a big artist that you like idolize to do it, because you always have the fear that you'll be rejected or something. From 5 years ago, what the side techno is now is like completely different. Even the style of the music, it's evolving so quickly, and side techno is not even a specific genre anymore. It's like an umbrella of so many subgenres of that subgenre. So
Hello everybody from Puzzles event, and this is Alpaka MuziK Showcase. Brother, please introduce yourself.
hello, my name is Jeff Kozy. I'm the label head of Alpaka MuziK.
Welcome to Australia, Jeff. So, as I understand, this is your second time in Australia?
Yeah, that's right. I was here last March and April, about a year ago. Yeah.
So, did you get a bit of a feel about the Australian crowd and Australian music scene? What do you think about it?
Honestly, the Australian music scene, the underground, techno underground psytrance scene is one of the best in the world. And last year I almost considered moving here, and I would have if it wasn't so far from my home and everywhere else in the world.
But you travel quite a bit. I mean, these days it's not that far. So are you still considering maybe possibly moving here?
I don't think I can move here just because it's so far from my home and my family and everybody. But I'm here for 5 weeks. I would consider maybe staying for 2 or 3 months next year. But moving permanently is a different story. Yeah.
So I will ask you about the label a bit later, but firstly I would like to ask you, how did your music journey begin? Did it start with electronic music, or were you interested in other genres before electronic music?
Yeah, I mean, before electronic music, many genres, old school hip hop, even some death metal back before when I was 15. But I think what got me into electronic music, to be honest, was Infected Mushroom when I was about 14 years old. I didn't know what it was called. I didn't know it was called psytrance or whatever, but from there I started going to raves when I was about 17. And after about a year or two of raving, I said I could do this, I could throw a party. So I started throwing raves in about 2010. Yeah. So from throwing raves, it just kept going. In the music scene, I threw parties on the side till now, actually. It's been 15 years now I'm throwing parties, or 14 years. And now I can do it full time with the label. So it's been a long journey, and I never thought it would be a career, but here we are. Yeah.
So music is what? Do you have any other jobs outside the music industry?
No, I actually quit my day job last year. I was working in sales for a tech company, and in the last year I realized I was working 40 hours a week at my day job, and then trying to do Alpaka and the festival and my parties 40 hours on top. So I was burning out, and basically I decided in the last year, like, I was gonna go for it and do music full time, quit my job, not look for anything else, and do Alpaka full time and make it livable. Of course, I'm making money or whatever than before, but I'm doing what I love, so I'm happy about it.
That is awesome. And so you were throwing parties and you were DJing at the same time. And how did the idea to start a label come about?
Well, actually, I started Alpaka Productions, which is the event company in Montreal, Canada, in 2018. That was the new company I started. I had a couple of other rave companies in the past, but after I started that rave company, my friend told me, like, well, I was thinking of doing things. How can I get involved in the music industry worldwide? Because events are very local. I was a promoter in Montreal and it was hard to get out, but I was booking international artists every month, and I wanted to find a way to kind of expand the music, my music knowledge worldwide, and connections and networking and stuff. And at first I thought I wanted to do a booking agency, but it wasn't the right time for that. And my friend, he recommended I start a record label. I never knew how to do it. I didn't know what it was about, but I went for it. I asked some friends that ran labels in the past, and I learned from there. Yeah.
And so the label is 3 years old?
The label is now almost 5 years old. I started it in about July 2019. So it's been almost 5 years now. And yeah, I can't believe how it's gone, because I started the label as a way to get my friends' productions in Montreal, because I was surrounded by producers for years, and it was a way to get my friends' productions out there, because they're artists. They're not as good at networking as me, and like so it was helping them get their music out to the world. But then it escalated very quickly. I started asking all the artists that I booked, like Carbon, Le Son du Placard, Tim Taste, can you make a track for me here and there? And then it just escalated from there, and I just kept going with it, man.
Well, was it difficult at the beginning to get these bigger artists to release on your label, or not so much?
Well, my goal was never to release big artists, but it wasn't difficult at first because it was artists that I booked for my events. So every month I would throw a party, a warehouse party or a club, and I would book like some of my favorite artists who are pretty big artists in the sci techno community. And then after I booked them, I would ask them if they would make a track or an EP. So it wasn't difficult, but it takes a lot of kind of guts to ask a big artist that you like idolize to do it, because you always have the fear that you'll be rejected or something. So it takes a lot of work, but it wasn't super hard because I had the connections with them already.
What advice would you give to younger labels that are just starting out? What's one of the most important things you think in running a label?
Well, I've actually mentored a couple of people recently. Well, I mentored Safira from Norway in starting her label Monstera. David Phoenix asked me for some advice when he was starting Vision Serpent, and I really love giving advice to people that want to start a label, because I asked advice from other people and they give it to me, and I feel like passing on the knowledge from all the mistakes I made. And I can't give any specific like concrete advice on everything, but honestly, just do it for the passion, for the love of music. Do it to get your friends' music out there. Do it because you love the rave community, the sci techno community, and the music, the music industry in general. And like keep it underground, keep it high quality. Make sure you don't just release anything. Keep it consistent, and just do it for the love, man. It's all about love of the music, man. That's what it is.
And where do you think the sci techno, minimal techno, sort of dark progressive techno, where do you think it's heading? How do you feel it's developing?
Yeah, it's a hard question, because I think it's so hard to answer that, because from 5 years ago, what the sci techno is now is like completely different. Even the style of the music, it's evolving so quickly, and sci techno is not even a specific genre anymore. It's like an umbrella of so many subgenres of that subgenre. So it's impossible to say where it's going, but it's definitely growing exponentially just seeing how many labels are popping up now, how many artists are producing that style, and how many artists are asking for help in producing the style from some of our artists that are teaching music, and as well as how many promoters are booking that music. It looks like it's just the sky's the limit from here. You know, it's I can't tell you where it's going to be, but I think it's getting big, and we're seeing a lot of psytrance festivals that are growing their techno and side techno stages to almost the same level of production as the psytrance stages. So it's hard to say we're in 5-10 years, but I can see it's just starting up.
And what's next for the label? Do you have any specific big plans, or just release good music as always and keep doing it?
Well, we do have some nice plans. I mean, we're gonna keep releasing amazing music. We have a bunch of compilations. We have the Louis M. Greenwolf track coming out next week. We have some crazy releases in the works. But on top of music, my long-term goal is to create like an education platform, which is something we're working on in the background. It's a long-term project, but an education platform for like intermediate to expert level psy-techno production, because there's a lot of beginner level stuff. But what's lacking in the industry is kind of the intermediate level and higher for that psy-techno sound. And as well as we got a lot of projects for like Alpaka Showcases and collaborative festivals in other countries, like South Africa is in the works, and all over the world, in Germany and everywhere. So we're gonna keep pushing that sound and keep pushing our artists. We're almost at 200 artists released and over 550 tracks. So I'll just keep going.
That sounds great. You've played in many countries. What is your most memorable experience on the stage, and where and when?
Oh my God, that's a hard question to answer. There's been so many amazing moments on this tour. I can't say the most ever because I've been playing for 14 years, but I think one of the most on this tour was probably my 2 South Africa gigs, just because the vibe, I never been to South Africa, and the vibe of the crowd there. And I was playing in front of like one of the biggest crowds. I've played like 3,000 people, and on like one of the biggest sounds, like the best sound systems I've ever heard. It's a Void Incubus rig in South Africa, with like the big lake and the mountains in the back. So that was very memorable, but I can't tell you the best in ever. However, I do have to go mix in 10 minutes, so I got to go prepare.
Well, thank you very much for sitting down with me, and any last words that you would like to add?
I mean, thank you very much for having me. Just everyone who's listening, like, just do it for the love, do it for the music, do it for your rave community, the people that come to your events, and everyone around the world that appreciates this music. And thank you so much for having me, man.
Thank you, brother.
I appreciate it. Oh, nice.
Thank you.
I don't get a chance to talk about that stuff often. So.
Awesome.
It was okay?
Yes.